Chelsea Football Club made the switch to Enzo Maresca, and now we have Levi Colwill coming out, and I'm telling you now, he fired shots at Pochettino. Because anybody that hears these comments and tells me, Alex, you're exaggerating it, you don't understand what he did there, and I'll explain to you why. Furthermore, we've got a very nice update and a touching message from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi basically asking the fans not to boo him for his return. We're going to talk about that. And finally, Petrovic and Santos put in amazing performances at Strasbourg by beating De Zerbi, but Petrovic comes out with wonderful comments basically telling Chelsea, my job is not done with you. And I'm going to tell you a reason why people will love Andres Santos at Chelsea Football Club, and it's not for his footballing abilities. But before we get started, it's very easy, right? You walk into the house, what's the first thing you do? You go wash your hands. You wash those hands, get all the dirt off. You come into the Kavkas View, the first thing you do is hit that like button. Guys, we are super close to 37,000, so I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe. We're like 140 people away. So can we get it done before October starts? It would be a great present. Now, let's get started with the news. Guys, you need to understand, Chelsea Football Club has gone through a huge transition in 2 years. We've had 4 managers or 5 managers, if some would count Bruno Solta. I don't count him. But what has happened is certain players are in with the manager, certain players are out. Then the next manager comes in, players come in, out. It's like a hokey dokey. We do the dance, we roll it all around, and we keep getting into a situation where players start talking. You know that once players sit down with journalists, they're praising the current manager, they're getting at the old one. They do it nice and sneakily, thinking people like me won't notice. Well, you guys are lucky because I'm here and I noticed it. Well, Levi Colwill has sat down and said, look, Enzo Maresca has given him a lot of confidence. His form at this moment in time is purely based onto him. He's encouraging him, he's trusting him to play football, and that's the key there. Furthermore, he says, I want to thank him for letting me play football. And this is very interesting because a lot of people would say this is horrible from Levi Colwill, but I'm going to say this is totally acceptable. What happened to Levi Colwill under Mauricio Pochettino? Stinky, absolutely stinky. Levi went on loan to Brighton. Levi built himself up a great reputation as a ball-playing centre-half. He got into the England squad, started playing for Chelsea at the left back. How can you put a centre-back that's immobile? The biggest weakness in Levi Colwill's game is he is not the most athletically gifted player. He's not quick across ground. He prides himself on reading the game and knowing when to be. He is from the mold of Thiago Silva's. He reads the game. He knows where to be there. Because he starts earlier than everyone else and he's smarter, he gets there before quicker players. He's not like a freak athlete like a Van de Ven. You know, somebody that he could give you a head start and he's still going to get there before you. So the fact that he's coming out and being asked to play left back, that would have irked him. Then we saw all those media outlets. Oh, he's happy to go to Liverpool. Oh, if Liverpool put a bid in, he'll be interested. And I told you guys on this channel, this was coming from his camp. Chelsea have no intention of selling this player. And this is where it gets super interesting. When he comes out and says, thank you for letting me play football, and he's given me all the confidence. It's because Enzo Maresca has wrapped his arms around him and said, you're my guy. You and Wesley are going to be my guy. And then what he says, which is really nice to hear, he says, players are asking Enzo, I want that shirt. I want to play. There's competition for spots. Every healthy team, every team that's ever successful has got competition for spots. So for me, Levi Colwill coming out and firing shots at Pochettino might be below the belt for some people. I say good, because I did not like Pochettino's football one bit. So what we're going to do now is hopefully these players are going to repay Enzo Maresca for their faith with great performances like we've seen so far. Let's get into the next story. When it comes to Cobham graduates, I think Callum Hudson-Odoi might be in the top 5 of the most talented players to come out of Cobham, because this guy's potential was the roof. Like the sky was his limit. That's how good this player was. I remember him coming through the ranks, broke through under Antonio Conte for one appearance, and then under Maurizio Sarri, that's where we saw this kid develop, and he was getting nurtured. And this is what I liked about Sarri. Sarri was very selective with how many minutes he gave Ruben, with how many minutes he gave Andres. He was very selective with how many minutes he gave to Callum Hudson-Odoi. He slowly eased them in, and the minute they got into the team, Callum's Achilles popped. And nothing was the same from that moment in time, because what ends up happening when you have a big injury like that, you need game time, you need trust, And more importantly, you need time. You don't have that at Chelsea Football Club because Sarri needed to win. And Sarri was gone by the time Callum Hudson-Odoi came and Frank Lampard got it. And what Frank was doing was, well, if you're not scoring, you're not contributing, mate, you're not going to play. And that's, at the end of the day, isn't out of order from Frank. Frank wants to keep his job. But what happened was Callum Hudson-Odoi had a very topsy-turvy period. Under Thomas Tuchel, he ended up playing right wing back. He went on loan to Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. It was not a good loan. Finally, he's left and moved on to Nottingham Forest. Well, now he scored a banger against us last year and he's coming back and he's basically saying, look, I hope they treat me nicely when I come back. I don't want to get booed. I genuinely don't. He furthermore went on and said it was the right time that he to go away. He wants to play football and he wanted to be in a place where he felt loved and a place where not that Chelsea didn't love him and they didn't give him opportunities. He just wanted to go play football. And for me, that is actually a very easy thing to say when you're in a position like him. And it was the truth. I remember coming here on multiple occasions and I said, Hudson-Odoi, as much as I value him as a talent, needs to go. And there's a lesson there to be learned for all young players. What you need to do from a young age is not to play for Chelsea or a Man United or an Arsenal or one of these top elite clubs if you're not breaking through by the time you're 19, 20. You need to go away, you need to put the minutes in, you need to play, and when you're good enough, you'll be cream rises to the top. It's just that expression, you know what I mean? Look at the way Hudson-Odoi is playing at Nottingham Forest. He won't be there long. He will move on to a bigger club. Look at the way ESR has left Arsenal and now he's shining at Fulham. Look at Cole Palmer leaving Manchester City, coming to Chelsea, who were mid-table at the time, and now he's shining. The reality is, players need minutes to show their worth. And if they're playing at a big club and they're getting one game every 3 and it's 20 minutes, that's not going to happen. But in regards to Callum Hudson-Odoi and booing him, listen, I'm a very simple guy. During the warm-up, brother, you're going to get a massive round of applause. Once the whistle goes, boo the crap out of it. Once the final whistle goes, clap him off the pitch. Because the reality is, whilst you're on that pitch in a Nottingham Forest kit during the game, we don't care about you. I don't care what anyone says. If he scores, don't clap him, boo him. Absolutely boo him. Put him off his game. The fact that he asked not to be booed means it will rattle him. Make sure you rattle him. The final thing I want to talk about is Strasbourg and Chelsea. Look, Chelsea have got 3 players on loan at the moment. 2 players on loan at Strasbourg because Diego Moreira is a full-time Strasbourg player now. He scored yesterday. Very good goal. Looked very tidy. Very nice. However, what I want to talk about is Petrovic. Petrovic had an outstanding game. Like, kept a clean sheet against the Zerbi's Marseille. Amazing saves, left, right, and centre. Very solid goalkeeper, like we know. But his kicking basically highlighted again. This guy needs to learn how to kick the ball if he wants to come back to Chelsea. As a goalkeeper, phenomenal. Like, I really like him. Safe pair of hands, comes for crosses, good shot stopper, athletic, big presence. The problem is, the guy just with his feet isn't up to par, and that's the reality of it. But at the end of the game, he had an interview and he was very transparent. He was very transparent that he wants to return to Chelsea. He said, look, I want to play at that level. I've felt it already. I know I'm good enough. I know I want to make it at Chelsea. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. And he was very open and honest about it. And what I will say is, he needs to be careful about that. The French media, the minute they start playing badly, he's going to be the scapegoat. And he needs to be very, very careful with what he words. And another thing I saw, they do this whole thing, right, where they go to, you know how in Dortmund they have the Great Wall, the yellow wall, and they're jumping up and down when the fans do their thing? So, well, it looks like Strasbourg has the same thing. A lot of the players were amped up and jumping in. There were a few players towards the back that just weren't as energetic with it. Petro was one of them. He literally looked like he just wanted to get off the pitch and go home. The reality is, it is very obvious this guy does not want to be there. I hope winning consistently will open his eyes and make him realize he does want to be there, because a good winning culture breeds happiness, and more importantly, it puts him in a position where he will be a better goalkeeper in the long term to either sell him on or keep him at Chelsea. But finally, it's just he needs to be careful, because those comments can be taken completely a different way. The final thing I want to say is André Santos has had a brilliant start to the season. Ligue 1 midfielder of the month. And more importantly, he has been absolutely cooking. But yesterday, I saw a side of him, that I didn't think I was going to see. A side of him where I wasn't laughing because technically he was absolutely unbelievable. He's a very comfortable player. Not because he has a goal scoring friend, not because he loves a tackle. He's a passion merchant. He is an absolute passion merchant. He's putting in blocks, celebrating. He runs out, tackles somebody, gives the ball away, he's celebrating. This guy is fully invested into this project. And I think what's really evident is he's bought in and being persuaded by Liam Rossini to return. If he continues playing the way he is, and now he's in the Brazil squad, Chelsea will bring him back and we're going to have a midfield four to pick from Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia, and Santos. Those four is wonderful. Genuinely, I don't want anyone. Other people are going to say Leslie Ogochukwu. Listen, Leslie Ogochukwu is a good player, but I'm yet to be convinced that he's of the level of those four. And Leslie Ogochukwu has a profile that we don't have, but I'm still unconvinced with his technical ability on the ball. Something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and I hope he develops at Southampton, but it is what it is. So for those of you that have watched all the way to the end, here's the review from this weekend's game. I hope you lot enjoy it, and below it, it's additional extra things from yesterday's game in comparison to my opinions on Jadon Sancho, the negativity around Noni Madueke, and Cole Palmer being amazing as he is. Go and get more Kavkas View. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.